Everybody, thanks for watching. Merkabah Scholar Society members, make sure you guys check your email for the meeting video. It should be out now. Also, make sure everybody who reserved for the Egypt trip, make sure you make that first payment and get it out the way. You guys still have time on that. Also, if you didn't reserve, make sure you reserve. You guys still have time on that as well. The emails have been sent out, so make sure you guys see those emails. Also, make sure you guys are paying attention to what's happening with crypto. We're getting a lot of emails with this, a lot of questions about crypto. Probably a lot of videos on this. If you're in the society, you guys know what we talk about. But it's important for anybody who's not in the society, for anybody who doesn't know what's going on, for you guys to try to be aware of what's happening. I'm hearing a lot of horror stories, a lot of people losing a lot of money. XRP, you have to understand what's happening with that. I put out videos on that. We discussed this within the society. You have to know what that is and why it is doing what it's doing. This is known to people that's a forecaster like myself. I keep up with the trends. I keep up with all this stuff. I've made crazy money for a lot of people and myself because I understand how this stuff works. It's not what you think it is. What's happening is about to be the biggest change in global history and world history. It's going to change everything. And you have to understand that things are being put in place to make this happen. It's not what you think it is. This is not just simply about investing. This is about a global change in our financial system and the way we do money and how we use money. It's a big deal, and it's a lot that's going to come with that. So don't just think you can just invest without any knowledge and make crazy money. It's not going to work that way. Have knowledge. Knowledge is power. These people didn't get here by luck. They know what they're doing, and they're using you to make themselves even richer. So be smart. I put out so many videos on so many of these things. People complain about what it costs. This stuff is going to save lives and make people a lot of money. And I mean that literally, because a lot of people are, doing harm to themselves. Let's just say that I've heard of because of situations that they fell victim to. So be smart, man. And just know what you're getting yourself into. Don't invest outside of your means, man. You got a family to take care of. You can't put them in jeopardy because you don't understand what you're doing. So I really wanted to get into that and stress that, because a lot of bad news that I've been seeing and hearing about from people making wrong decisions. I do what I do for a reason. If you're not prepared to invest in that, invest in yourself, then, I can still help out the best way I can. So yeah, make sure you guys are being smart about investments that you're making going forward. But yeah, let's get into this video. So you guys know I put out a lot of videos over the years on the state of Black people and our culture and what's happening with our society. And, it's a trap. Anybody who's ever been conned or tricked before, you know how that feels to be tricked. A lot of us now, if you're street smart, you can spot a trick from a mile away. And a lot of people don't like the feeling of being conned or tricked. You feel stupid. You feel dumb. And when it comes to the hip hop culture, this is exactly what happened to us. We have been tricked. We have been conned into exactly what we have accepted as our culture. And it's not our culture, right? So we look at things like these award ceremonies and these shows and everything that's happening with these hip hop stars and how they're making crazy money. And it's smoke and mirrors to keep us in the understanding that this stuff is good for Black people. Anytime we see money surrounding something, we think it's good, and we don't realize it's a part of the con, plain and simple. So the money that these people have surrounded themselves with and have been given to them is to keep us with this illusion that hip hop is good for the Black community, that hip hop equals wealth, right? This culture equals money. It equals sophistication somehow, when clearly what it's showing does not. So I want people to really understand and keep coming into the knowledge of how this stuff has been a trap for us over the years, and how the only way we're ever going to change or come out of our situation is to get rid of it. Now, if you've been paying attention, we're slowly moving away from it. I think more people, more than ever, are becoming more aware of hip hop and the message that it's putting out, that they don't want to be a part of it. But you have a lot of these drill artists and a lot of these artists that's commanding huge crowds, thousands of people, that's bringing nonsense, that's just bringing the community down. And we're not realizing how it's a trap. All these people that's been put out here, from your Cardi B's to your NBA young boys or what have you, all these people have been set upon our community to keep it destroyed, to perpetuate exactly what's destroying us, plain and simple. So whether you realize that or not, that's exactly what's going on. It's a part of a con that's been set up so long ago. So, and the calculated destruction of the Black man and woman, that video, I really get into all this and understand the psychological programming that hip hop brings, right? That it does to the Black community, and how with hip hop and with the culture that we follow, they can control the black community by remote control. No longer do they need to put out propaganda, right? As far as the leaflets and the fake movies, our music is something we accepted. And it's a culture we accepted that we fought for. We argued for this music. MTV didn't want to play it. They didn't want to talk about it. And now we're arguing for it today. And it's in a way that we don't realize is destroying us, right? So a lot more people is coming forward with this debate. And I'm involved with a lot of groups that we talk about this, the state of hip hop, the state of the culture, and how, man, they can make movies, they can put out songs, and they can do so much that can back hip hop spiritually, right? Pretty soon, people are going to be talking about the rise of Diddy, right? The comeback of Diddy. And people are going to forget about everything. It's just how good they're able to reprogram us to accept something, right? So he can use his son to do it. He can use whatever he wants to do it, but eventually people are going to accept it and forget about everything because that's what the programming does, right? So not to get into no Diddy stuff, but it's just to get people into the understanding of how easy it is for them to program us to accept something that is a bad look for the black community. But you guys, again, have to look at the setup. And I don't do enough of these videos. A lot of the videos I got into this are older. But, I mean, it's going back into the 80s and 90s. It's going back into understanding how this thing was set up and realizing that, you know, it was a trap from the beginning, hip-hop, this whole culture of us accepting it. And it started from just the little words, the things that we start accepting as meaning something that's revolution, but it's not. Right. So expressing ourselves and just saying I'm bad or I'm a bad MF, right? I'm a bad motherfucker. I'm bad. Not realizing that you saying you're bad is you speaking ill will onto yourself, right? It's word magic, wordplay. You can look at it and say, it's just semantics. Me saying I'm bad is saying what exactly, right? Today we look at it and we expect, or we say that when you say I'm bad, you're saying that you're cool, right? And that's how we took it. I'm bad, I'm cool, I'm not to be messed with, right? I'm bad. And it went from that little thing, right, to I'm gangsta, I'm a thug, right? And now it's just those things imply so much more. Saying I'm bad, everybody's bad. It's not that harsh, right? But saying I'm a thug, saying I'm a gangsta, what that represents is an attachment that's surrounded with so much, you know, drugs and crime and murder, prostitution, anything you can think of that's just vile and disgusting on a part of a person that you don't really want to be wrapped up in. And we get it from the Italian community with gangs, right? So we know the first gangs wasn't us. You know, Crips and Bloods they're not ancient. They're not early America. We know that the gangs the Italians and the Irish had in America was basically running everything. And they basically took that and parlayed it into what they have today, which is, you know, a civilized situation. We have not done so. So we looked at the so-called gangsters and the mafia and what they were doing back then and how they kind of had this hold on the city of the fear that they put out there for people as being something good. Like they did what they wanted to do. They had cops in pocket, and is what these rappers, you know, romanticize about, what they fantasize about. I'm a gangster. Every rapper that you heard of when we start getting into the whole gangster culture, the whole thug mentality of hip hop, talked about being a gangster. From your Biggies and your Tupacs, everybody was gangster, gangster, gangster. How you had Junior Mafia, right? All the little C's, all these names of these rappers was tied to some type of mafia name, right? And you start to look at that, it's like these people are basically trying to emulate mafia. That's not us, that's them. So we look at hip hop and say, this is black music, this is black culture. It's not. It's us taking Italian mob culture and bringing it into the black community and making ourselves look in a way that we are not. Because before all this, that was not us. We were not gangsters and thugs. We would never call ourselves those things, right? We were trying to show this society that we are just as good as they are. And the way you destroy that is exactly what we have today, by us perpetuating a system that has our identity wrapped up in murder, violence, drugs, or what have you. Now, you can say, well, white people did it, but we're not in the same situation as them. Whenever somebody say, well, white people listen to the gangster rap, white people listen to hip hop, we are not in the same situation as them economically or as a people. So you can't equate what they're doing or any other race, what they're doing to us. We're at the bottom. So we can't be equated with people that's at the top and controlling everything that's happening, right? So what a white community does as far as listening to hip hop music or acting gangster or thug or what have you does not affect their people as a whole. Plain and simple. So little Ray and little white bulls in these neighborhoods, whatever they do, the little shit they get caught up in and whatever they're doing is not going to affect the white community as a whole. It's just going to be some wiggers sitting in prison for something. They're going to come out and they're going to get all the second chances that they want to get their life together. And they're either going to do it or they're not. But this is what I've seen happen personally, to where these so-called wiggers go to jail and come out and are doing well. I know a few that are doing well because they have family and people around them to help them out. Black person, you get locked out, you come out, you have nobody, you can barely survive, you end up going back in. It's a revolving door with us, right? So we have to look at this and understand the Trojan horse that is hip hop. Still to this day, it exists. It exists to destroy and keep us exactly where we are by destroying the black family and the black community. It's no other way around it. And it's something that should be talked about more and more, because until we realize this, we're going to stay exactly where we are. It's important because building wealth and having people in the mindset to understand how important that is wrapped up in this. It's tied to this. Because when you got so many young black men wanting to be rappers, wanting to be basketball stars or what have you, wanting to be any type of emulation of a gangster or thug, they don't have their minds in their investments. Half of them don't even want to invest in themselves when it comes to hip hop. They just want to look the part. They want to look the part. They don't want to even put the money into themselves and their career in music. They just want to look like they're doing that. They want to be on the gram. They want to be showing off. It's a look. To put time and money in and to dedicate yourself to something, you'll usually get to that point. But this is not what we should be doing as black people, as far as us progressing as a people, or even you progressing as an individual. This is the last thing you should be thinking about doing. And people think just because they got locked up and they got a record, that's the only route for them. And this is by design. Get these people to sell drugs in the community, get them locked up, right? Then make them believe that the only way that they can ever make it out of the hood is to be a rapper. And some of them succeed. Some of them do good things doing rap and they make money and they come out of it. But all they're doing is putting back into the black community exactly what destroyed their lives and had them in a chase. It's not going to happen for everybody. Now everybody's going to be able to chase being signed and get signed. It's going to end up destroying more lives. And we're seeing this. Even some of the guys who get into the industry end up destroying their whole squad because they can't leave the streets alone, right? So this whole thing, I mean, it's like enough's enough. When are we going to realize how much of a trap hip hop is? And the culture is a mess. It's horrible. And, you go back, as I said, to the beginning and looking at how, we basically asked for this, and that's reverse psychology. And it's by design that we asked for us to have this hip hop music. And when we got it, we relinquished control of it to them in exchange for money. And that's just basically what's been happening ever since then. It's crazy for something that is so big in the black community, that dominates the black community so much, that it's basically, it's wrapped into our everyday lives, man. It's every single day, every time you walk outside, hip hop, hip hop, hip hop. Every black person you pass by, you see some type of remnants of hip hop and what they say, the clothes they wear, or if they walk, what have you. It's crazy to see that much influence on the people being controlled by another people, right? It would be the equivalent of Chinese people controlling Islam, right? Can you imagine that? You go to an Arab country and Islam is being ran by some Chinese people. That's ridiculous, right? It's basically what's happening here. We are not benefiting from hip hop culture. They are. Everybody but us is. So for us to have our culture so largely wrapped up into hip hop, and for us to be getting very little out of it as a people, it's crazy. And it should show you right there that it was made to destroy us and keep us where we are rather than to help us out. So white people have banks and Fortune 500 companies, and they help their people out. They help their people get businesses and grow, right? Asians as well. They have banks. They have a lot of companies and corporations. They have markets. They have everything to help their people even come here and do great and flourish, right? You on the West Coast, Mexicans are everywhere. They run everything. They have stores all over the place. They help their people out. You see it in every type of race of people but black people. Where can you go in America and say the same for black folks? Nowhere. You can't go anywhere and see us controlling and dominating something that's benefiting the people in the community. Hip hop is not doing that. So for it to have the reach that it has, the award shows, right? The everywhere you go, you see it. And for us to not be freaking multi-trillionaires as the people is crazy, because every person you walk past, I don't care what their race is, they display some form of hip hop. And the words they're using and their clothes, the slang or what have you, you see it. You see it on ESPN. You see it everywhere. The mannerisms, everywhere. Hip hop is infused in everybody. And it's a culture that is African-American, that is black, that we put out there. We perpetuate it, but it's been used against us because we don't control it and we never did. So what do we do with it? Where do we go from here when it comes to hip hop culture? We got to change it. And I keep telling you guys, the only thing that's really going to put us back in a situation where we have some type of unity is hip hop. And the music has to change in order for that to happen. And unless the music change, it will never happen. The music has to change to reflect the change that we want to see in the black community, whether that's going to college, whether that's being more educated, whether that's stopping the violence and killing each other, respecting black women, growing as a business entrepreneurs and changing our economic situation. The music will control that. The music will make that happen. Because look at the alternative. What has the music put out? Exactly what the problem is in the black community. So that should tell you again that it was used to do exactly that, specifically that. Why would these people who supposedly hate us, who we see all the problems in the black community, all the racism around the world, everything that's happening, somehow they care about how many niggas you shot. They care about how much drugs you sold. Because they understand that perpetuation and that message is only going to destroy the black community and not harm anybody outside of it but us. So while everybody else is being entertained by those music and those lyrics, those songs, it's destroying the black community, and it's clear as day. And it's like, we don't want to see that message. We don't want to understand that that's exactly what's happening. And it's a problem. It's a problem. So until we realize that is the issue and that's what's really keeping the community exactly where it is, then we won't see any type of remedy in the black community until the music first is attacked, changed, and accepted as something that's going to be more beneficial to black people rather than what we have today. So you just got to go and look through music history and look at what we had before. Look at the R&B and the soul, right? The blues, the music we had that kept our families together, kept us united. The music that was talking about respecting the black women, begging black women to be with us and to love us and show them how much we love them, right? So we had a major change with that to where R&B is no longer R&B. We went from Boyz II Men to R. Kelly to Chris Brown. And that music jumped and changed in its tone, right? In the way singing was done away with. It was singing, but with a twist of hip hop. So we basically took the vulgarness of hip hop and infused it into our R&B to where the beautiful, soulful music that we used to sing that you heard from our R&B singers like Boyz II Men, those groups, so many other artists that we had that you guys can see here that just think about, if you're old enough, just think about the kind of music, the type of music that Silk and Shy and Jodeci even, Keith Sweat, High Five, Mint Condition, all these other, Joe and all these other singers who had beautiful songs, right? There's so many of them. Luther Vandross, all these guys. We just had so many soulful, good singers out there that sung, that you can hear their voice. Brian McKnight, these guys would, sit at the piano and play beautiful music. That is gone. That music is the music that touched your heart, made you emotional. They took that and infused it with hip hop. So the tone and everything has changed and switched up. So it's a beat to it that is not a soulful beat. It's a more hip hop beat. So now the tone to our once beautiful music has changed and has this remnants of hip hop. So now this beautiful music goes with this beat And now the message is different. It's not about loving Black women anymore. It's about disrespecting them. It's about basically turning them into glorified prostitutes. It's about taking your woman. Now these singers that once put out beautiful music are not singers no more. We don't know what that is. It's another weapon against the Black community and the Black family that's been used to keep us exactly where we are. And that's how you got to look at it. So as much as I do like Chris Brown, I like these other singers or what have you, it's why Neo is not around anymore, because Neo will put out soulful, good songs. And Chris Brown took off because he has different type of music that's talking about taking your girl and, you know, making your girl do all kinds of stuff. All kinds of disrespectful music that is not about attacking the heart of the Black woman and making her feel loved and wanted. A lot of the music is geared towards more playing towards the, let's just say, the prostitution role that a lot of these Black women play in today. A lot of these Instagram girls and this style that Black women have today that is just straight up prostitution. It's glorified prostitution. And the music is reflecting that. That if you want this money, this is what you got to do. You know, I'm a baller over here. I got this kind of money. If this is what you want, you got to be with this guy. Leave this broke guy alone. It's all about aiding and catering towards women who have that kind of ideology or that kind of thought process or what have you, that you must be this type of baller in order for me to be in your life. In order for me to be your friend, to go on a date with you, you must have this. And now that once music that was love and talking about soulful, beautiful things, and the Black family and Black relationship has changed into a transaction. You know, glorified prostitution. I got money. I want you. I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to fly you out. I'm going to take you from your man. So on and so forth. It's just crazy. And people look at this and it's just entertainment. And that's why I say we have found entertainment in our own destruction. We're not putting this shit together. I should not have to say this. I'm pretty sure you guys understand this already. But how come the people that's in power or the people who can make these decisions don't want to see it or harp on it? Everything else we talk about when they on the news or all over social media, talk about Black on Black crime, talking about YNs. How are you talking about YNs when you're not going to talk about what's activating these YNs? Because this behavior has to stem from somewhere. It has to come from somewhere. It has to start somewhere. So that's what they need to address. Where did this behavior come from? And they want America to believe, white America to believe, that we're just born this way. We're just innately evil, and that we raise our kids to be disrespectful, evil little bastards, right? And it's not the case. But it's a part of this whole control system that we've been seeing for a long time, to where we see what the youth is doing and how they're perpetuated. And this is why when you see these videos of Black people doing shit, you look at the comments, it says, you know, the usual suspects, right? Black people doing what they know us to be known for, being thugs, being just evil people, how they want us to be portrayed, or how we look to them, you know, us being who we are as far as the stereotypes that's been put out there to perpetuate the, you know, existence of Black people in the Black community is disgusting. And it's how they look at us as disgusting people. But it's not us. It can clearly be traced back to the music that is basically the root of Black culture, our society. It's the music. And it's how do we want to be portrayed? Now, there's this competitiveness in us that say, so what? I'm going to act the way I want to act, right? And again, this is chess. This is about being smart, right? So one thing I didn't agree with Dr. King, as far as, you know, peaceful protesting or what have you, I understood it. I understood that he understood, or they understood, the power that these people had, and that we was outnumbered. They could wipe us out if we got into a war. And there's no point in Black people being killed, because they would have gladly killed us had we, you know, acted out. We didn't have the weapon capacity that they have. We didn't have the situation, the status in the police department, or military, to put up any type of real fight. So we was basically hostages and being, you know, asking for more food, basically. We was never, still to this day, in a position of power to really do anything as far as on the military situation. Now, you have people, militant Black folks out there that's looking at things and saying, you know, because of our progression, that they believe we have some type of power or more power than we had before as far as militarily. It's never been far from the truth. They still hold all the cars and all the guns and the weapons and what have you, and a lot more. It's never been about that, though. It's been about strategy. It's been about chess and understanding that we are on the side of right. We have all the history. We have the culture. We have the knowledge. Everything is on our side. Not to mention the fact that you have white folks and everybody else that's willing to follow us in that message of truth, of peace. And the people who are not are who we are fighting against, and the people who we need to basically change this image that we have in the minds of these people. And whether that's going to happen or not is up to us. And, how that begins is with this music, because to take something so beautiful, like the music we had in the 80s and 90s or what have you, and turn it into, what we see today in this craziness, this music that exists today, is part of the problem, right? Until we can change that and touch people the way that we did back then, they're going to continue to see us as monsters. If you look at how much the music barrier changed the minds of people, white folks in America, right? Sammy Davis Jr. and, Ray Charles, and how the music was bringing people together. We see that throughout history, how the music from these black artists brought a lot of people to the understanding that black people are just like them. We've seen it with our TV shows back in the day. A lot of white folks grew up on those black TV shows, and a lot of them liked it. And we've seen TV shows later copy a lot of these black shows. And we can look and see how we made our mark, not just on hip hop culture, but on culture, period, American culture. Nobody has put more into the culture of America than black people. We have this hold on America that we don't realize we have, but they're using that power that we have from that to keep us in this place and make us look like less than, to make us look like thugs and hooligans. And we're relinquishing that power, that hold we have, and giving it to these racist people who don't like us at all. Plain and simple. It's what we're doing. And it starts with taking back the music and taking back that message that really brought us together back in the day, and controlling that and understanding that this Trojan horse that is hip hop is the problem. And we can no longer look at it the way we've been looking at it. And we have to stop ignoring the message that has been putting out that keeps us in this perpetuation of being, less educated, horrible people, right? We need to change that message. So, when I talk about this stuff, I've been putting out these videos for years, and I try to hammer that message home to people who's willing to listen, to get you guys to understand that change begins with us. And I'm starting to see it, and I'm glad I'm seeing it now, that a lot of people are coming into that knowledge of that, this music is horrible. And it's not what we had in the 90s. At least we had Nas. We had rappers and we had groups that at least kicked some knowledge into their rhymes. Jadakiss and them, the wordplay was different. It was stuff that still made you thought, even though a lot of it was followed with vulgar, crazy gunplay or what have you. At least it was subliminal. It was knowledge based. It made sense. It was like dope, metaphorical. And it's something that we can look at and be like, damn, that's crazy, and make us think deeper. We had messages attached to a lot of this music back then that still had a sense of unity and pride to it that made you, uniquely believe or understand that it's black music, until that message was changed and it's corrupted into what it is today. And it's destroying us, right? So I think a lot of people understand this. Again, we find entertainment in this whole process. So it's one of the reasons why a lot of black folks don't want to let it go. But until we can let it go, until we can at least change it and own it, we're going to continue to see this problem. And, I see people, crying over these people getting shot and killed, and all the videos that's out there right now. And you got young boys killing people on video. They don't care. In public, broad daylight, a lot of people watching, people getting shot. Ops. And they proud of it. Oh, slide on my ops. Look at all, if you guys seen all the videos that's out there of these black boys in court, lives just thrown away. Like when you kill somebody and you go out there and you take a person's life, it's a matter of time before they take yours, or take yours by putting you in prison for the rest of it, right? It's just a matter of time. They so lost in the music and in its culture that they think they're untouchable because they have never seen it in their community or in their atmosphere where an authority figure came in and gave a fuck. Right? If you're out there running around and shooting people and doing all this craziness, and the authority figure that you see as parents or the adults in your neighborhood are with the shit, they're along with the music. They're along with all the bullshit. You selling them drugs. They selling you drugs. And there's no type of, authority figure there to let you understand how the world really works. So you think this is all a game and you're going to get away until you get booked for whatever crime that is. And then you spend the rest of your life in jail. And this is exactly what they want. It's too many YNs going to the grave or going to the cell for life. And that's it. And this is exactly what they want. I mean, the fact that the term YN is so big right now, and you got white people using it proudly, YN, these YNs. It's crazy. And it's just another chapter of the downfall of the Black community that has been perpetuated by hip hop music. And here we are. Here we are. So when is it going to change, right? So people, you guys continue to ask me about this stuff. My stance will never change on hip hop. You know, I like the 90s stuff. I grew up with all that. It's not really no rapper I like right now. It's hard to not like Drake. Music is everywhere. But it's just stuff that I just can't really get into because I just cringe at a lot of this music these days. I can't really get into it. You know, J. Cole is nice. Some of these guys make some okay songs, but at the end of the day, they are part of that system that I know is there to keep us exactly where we are. I don't care what song you like from these guys. That's their role. That's Cardi B's role. That's Nicki Minaj's role. That's all these rappers' role, is to keep us exactly where we are. And if you look at what some of these people are doing and how they live in their lives, how can you think that's good for Black people to see? You know what I'm saying? You know, the whole Offset Cardi situation with Diggs, it's crazy. I mean, that's so crazy and dysfunctional and just so weird for it to be out there, so public, and people to be looking at this as it being something good. Like, it's crazy. And it's blame on both sides. It's blame all around. Like, I mean, that's their business, but at the end of the day, it's still a bad look for the Black community and for us as a family to be married and have a family and have so much money and still not be happy. There's nothing else. And that's the message they want to put out. It don't matter how much money you got. He's still going to cheat. It don't matter how much money she got. She's still going to do what she want to do. Or he's going to cheat and look like the bad guy. She's going to, retaliate, and then she looks bad. But at the end of the day, it's destroying a Black family, right? So you can look at it and say, hey, they had a baby, and maybe they're going to come together and be a family. How often does that happen? We're waiting for their downfall, literally, because we know what's going to happen. We know something's going to happen to make it bad. And that's just what we're seeing in our reality. Things happen. Now we had where Black women were screaming marriage and horse and carriage and settling down and finding a husband. Now they don't even want to be married no more. They don't want the dream wedding. They don't want families. It's about getting the bag, finding a guy that got money and going on trips and taking pictures and posting for the gram. It's crazy right now. And shit, now with AI, you can do all that. It's not even real. So, we're just doomed right now, and we got to realize what this stuff is really about and where it came from, and how it's still being perpetuated in our music, and that we need to change it. So, it's a lot of artists that hit me up about music and the direction to go. You guys know I was in the industry, and I always tell them, man, you got to think about that and, what that leads to, and try to have a message that's beneficial. I think more than ever, Black people are more open-minded to conscious music than ever before, and they wait for it. And we haven't had any real major promotion behind a super conscious, fully conscious artist, because a lot of people don't know how to even be that. So yeah, wanted to put this video out. Thank you guys who been keeping up with everything. It's been busy. I've been hacked, and I talked about that. It's been tough trying to keep all that going. There's always something. It's just life. It's how it is. You got to roll with the punches and keep going. The people that fuck with you will always be there, and they'll always be there looking out for you and have your back no matter what happens. And I appreciate you guys. So make sure you guys, again, man, investments is important, man. There's a lot of people that's messed up out there. I do things for a reason. I've been trying to help you guys out for years financially to get everything together. Personal economics was the first one. Everything I put out with the Shopify course is still available. Everything is out there to make sure you guys make good investment decisions. You're not going to be spiritually free if you're not financially free. It's the way this world was set up, right? Unless you get out of here. Don't live in a society. Don't live in a society that's set up this way, right? And as long as you're here, that's what you're going to have the money, plain and simple. It's important for you to understand that, and that, your actions that you're taking is really going to take you away from that and put you in a situation where you're dependent on a job that's been put in place to make you a slave all over again. And that's what some of you guys are going to slave away. And they won't be able to afford anything by the time you old enough to retire. It's fucking sad. I don't want that for you guys. I want you guys to be free. Spiritually free, financially free. That's the only way to be. right? So yeah, thanks for taking the time to watch. Scholar Society members, everybody who's going to Egypt, make sure you guys take care of those payments. Email has been sent out. First payment was due yesterday. And, make sure you guys take care of it. Shoot me emails if you have any issues. The reserving the trip is still available. You guys know where the links are. Joining society is still available. Make sure you guys get in, especially if you're thinking about investing in the future or want to be a part of something that's really dope. Make sure you guys get in. Eventually, we're going to have our society members vote people win. So and when we get to that point where we're at that capacity, people will get voted in. I talked about this before, but we have not gotten to that point because I'm real selective about who gets in. And, some people are not able to keep up with the group for whatever reason. But we have meetings. We do a lot. So make sure you join in if you're with it. And it's definitely worth the $18 a month when you think about it, because there's videos that those guys are going to get that you guys will not get. So think about that. We do a lot. But, thanks for taking the time to watch. I'll see you guys next video. Peace.